We're going to hit record over here. All right, it looks like we're live on YouTube. All right. Are we getting feedback? Getting it double? Okay. Let me make sure that happens. All right, here we go. All right, welcome everybody. I am so glad to be here with you today. I'm excited to be with you. My name is Kathy Wright, and I am one of the coaches at URAWarrior, which is a mental wellness app that we're all a part of and happy to be a part of. And today we wanted to bring you the first in a series around mental health and wellness. And since it's pretty timely, Thanksgiving is coming up on Thursday, we thought it would be really cool to bring together some coaches, our dynamic superstar coaches from You Are a Warrior app, and bring us all together to help us get some tips and tools about how to beat the holiday blues. Again, so I'm super excited to be with you. The holidays are meant to be joyful, but for many, many people, sometimes that's not the truth, right? Sometimes it can bring stress, it can bring loneliness, it can bring grief, it can bring overwhelm. So today we want to talk about how we can honestly deal with our own grief or stress we may be having around the holidays, and having our coaches give us some real tools to kind of help us navigate that. So you'll hear from our incredible coaches. They're going to give us again, some tips around understanding the holiday blues, get some practical tools to kind of help us along the way and to help us to reclaim our joy and our connection, right? So I'm gonna ask each coach to introduce themselves and just give me your name, your coaching focus, and maybe a word or two that describes the holiday for you. Okay. So I've got everybody in my little Brady Bunch window, and I see Coach Shavana first. Coach Shavana, there you are.
Can you hear me? Oh, I'm so sorry. I should have been ready. Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to be here today. My name is Shavana, known as Shavana Speaks More. I'm an actress, I'm a storyteller, speaker, and the CEO of More Than Coaching LLC, where we focus heavily on personal development and storytelling. You said one word or two words to describe the holiday for us.
One word. One word.
So I would say, what's one word that describes joy? It brings me joy. It brings me joy to be with my family and friends, to cook. I love cooking. So it brings me a lot of joy just to be able to be a blessing to other people as well in this season.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Coach Shavana. Coach Lamarque, I see you next.
Hey, everyone. My name is Lamarque Ward. I'm the founder and CEO of Dream Builders University companies. Um, the holidays, it's actually a busy time for me. And so, I'm always looking forward and reflecting during the holidays in preparation for first quarter. And so when I think about a word, that describes it for me, it's probably going to be reflection, and yeah, reflection is the word for me.
Awesome. Thank you. Coach Oliver.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Oliver Marcel, Denali Coaching and Consulting, where we are passionate about seeing relationships thrive. As a speaker, author, and coach, that's where my love is, relationships and relationship building. One word for me, I think I will probably be in the same vein as Coach Lamarque. It's refocus for me. There's a lot that happens in terms of hanging out with family and some things that really help me to shift my focus to what's really important in life. So refocus.
Thank you. I see Coach Cornita joined us. Hi, Cornita.
Hello, everyone. Happy holidays. Nice to see you.
Awesome. We're just picking out one word that would help us focus on the holidays. Your favorite.
Oh, right now I'm on discipline. and it has nothing to do with the food. But I guess you can say that since we won't eat too much. But just recently, just discipline, because there are a few things that I think a lot of folks, even including myself, that want to focus on. And it takes a lot of courage and strength. So discipline is a good one right now as we kind of gear up for the new year. So
Thank you. That's a good word. I love that.
thank you.
Malika, Coach Malika.
Yes, hi. I am a servant leading executive women leader, right? And I specifically specialize in helping those women to end what I call extraction fatigue, and that's the overgiving and overdoing that many of us suffer from. My one word is unbothered. I am going to be cool, at ease. Listen, there are too many holidays that come with too much stress and too many obligations, and this holiday y'all can miss me with all of the drama. I'm gonna be unbothered and enjoying myself.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that. I love that. I wrote that down. I wrote that down. Coach Sue.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Sue Bowles, and I am with My Step Ahead LLC. I am an ACC certified master life and mental health coach. And in 2 weeks, I will also be a 7 Types of Rest certified speaker and trainer with Sandra Dalton Smith. And I work and speak around the intersection of faith and mental health. I work with those who feel bruised, beat up, and broken by the world, and help them rewrite their narratives, do the work to rewrite their narratives so they can live the life they don't think they deserve. And I would think the one word that hits for me right now is time. There's still some grief around the holidays for my family, and yet we're redeeming the time and making sure that that's what we spend with. We did away with the Christmas gift giving and everything, just to enjoy each other's time. So time is the thing for me for Thanksgiving and for Christmas.
I love that. I love that. And I think who do I have left? Coach Debbie? Did you get an opportunity? There you go.
Hi, everyone. Again, Debbie Douglas from 3D HR Consulting, formerly of media entertainment, HR, and recruiting. Have my own company now where I do a lot of career wellness coaching as well as staffing support. So in terms of the way that I approach it around wellness, it's about how can we be well, not only personally, but professionally. We cannot be whole in our environments if we're not well mentally, spiritually, and physically. My word is definitely peace. If we don't have peace of mind, we can't do anything, we can't be anything, and we can't give to anyone.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. I love that all of you have also given me some words to think about. I don't think I always think about being unbothered or having peace or like in that way. So I appreciate those words of wisdom. So as we begin to talk about like the holiday season, right? You've got Thanksgiving, you've got Hanukkah, you've got Kwanzaa, you've got all of these things kind of coming together. There are a lot of people who, and statistics will share this too, that are just really, they get stressed out about this time. I think Sue talked about not giving gifts, like kind of taking that out of the equation for her family and really focusing on wellness and being together. So I know a lot of people just don't have anybody that they can have that conversation with, or they just haven't found, they haven't taken the time to really sit and start to think about ways it could be different for them. And so that a lot of them they have the blues. They get the holiday blues. It's like a peak time for all kinds of stressors. Lots of data suggests that just people just really are having a tough time. So Sue, I wanna go right to you with this first question, if that's okay, right?
Sure.
So, what are the biggest emotional triggers as you think about the holiday blues? What's the biggest holiday probably trigger?
I think there's a few. Around Thanksgiving, it's certainly food certainly be a big trigger. I'm in recovery from an eating disorder. So a food-centric holiday with an eating disorder has a bunch of extra stuff brought with it. So I think that can be one trigger. I think a larger one, yes, is grief. And grief can take any number of it can look any number of different ways. It could be something you've lost. It could be someone you've lost. It could be loss of time. It could be grief around anything. I think we think of grief as a loved one who has passed away, but there are bigger griefs involved in life as well. And it's important to say that every grief hurts, and every grief needs to be grieved. Every trauma needs to be grieved. Every loss needs to be grieved. And I think when we try to circumvent that process, when we don't allow ourselves to feel those emotions, it adds more to things. And that can culminate in the holiday blues because we get stuck in trying to avoid things that we know at some point in time we got to deal with. And we just don't know how to go about dealing with it. And that could be expectations. I think not unrealistic, unmet expectations are an undercurrent of loss, and needing to take the time at some point in time and sit down and just really deal with things and look at things uh, helps in terms of getting on a path to not experiencing the blues as much as you might be right now.
I think that's really powerful. I'm thinking about what you said and like how people have these expectations around how things are going to impact them. Do you have any advice for how they could manage these expectations around the foods in particular and around the grief dealing with
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I think one thing is just know your triggers. Know what can set you off because those are the things you can control. One of the key things that, and when I talk with people who are in recovery from an eating disorder, and that I remind myself of as well, is have a plan. You have a support system, involve that support system, but have a plan, know your triggers, and how are you going to deal with that? One of the key tools I love to share with my life coaching clients is about have a code word. If you're in an environment, say you're going to somebody's house, and you know that either this person or this situation is going to drain you, but it's kind of a command performance, you still got to be there, then have a code word with your partner, your
Mm.
support person of a signal or something of, okay, I've done my time, I need to get out of here. Those kind of concrete tips can make a big difference because one of the expectations we put on ourselves is, I have to be here for the duration. And that is an unmet expectation that maybe you feel like I don't have. And then you're already walking in from a place of unrest, of place of drain, and needing to know that's a trigger and needing to protect yourself and have a plan and be aware of how you want to operate that can make a big difference. We need to learn how to let ourselves off our own hook because we can have unrealistic expectations of ourselves, and that's where it needs to start is letting ourselves off the hook so that we can then operate in the space and the energy that you have and not drain yourself all the more.
Wow, that's really good advice. I guess I never really kind of really think about like having a code word. I have a code word when I want to leave a party with my husband. I'm like bananas, right? Then we know it's
Mhm.
time to go, right? But we don't have code words for just these things that happen in life on a regular basis. So I love that bit of advice. Thank you for that, Sue. Lamarque, right? I know that you work a lot with executives and you work with young people. How does grief or loss tend to happen, or would they have the same type of experience during the holidays for those particular
Yeah,
groups?
yeah. You know, as dealing with grief and loss, especially during times with the holidays, a lot of people are looking forward to the new year, right? And so, and when we're dealing with grief, we're trying to process. And what I'm actually experiencing this. I saw a lady last week, and she lost her husband. It's actually my aunt, and I could just tell she was heavy, right? And I just said, "Hey, can I give you a hug?" Right? I know, and just acknowledging the reality of what they're going through, right? Just in the moment. Hey, can I give you a hug? I know you have some hard days, right? Some extremely hard days. And but when we're talking about grief, you're talking about you're dealing with the loss of what I'm dealing with right now, but then you're trying to project a new future without what you lost, right? And you've
Mm.
had so much time or so many years with that person or thing or whatever it may be. And so I think really trying to find peace and learning, I mean, even if it's just a simple roadmap or a painting of you in the future, moving forward, some type of activity that gives you the courage that you can weep through and mourn through as you do it, as you begin to paint through with the hope of the future. The other thing is, another trigger, during the holiday season is, uh, lack of community and negative self-image, right? Again, lack of community is another one. Some folks don't have as many connections as we have. Some of us may have, and so I think that's one thing that we need to be on the lookout. And then the negative self-image, when we don't show up in the mirror in a healthy way, it's hard to, we're bringing that to everywhere we go, but also it's hard to project to the future as well. So those are a few of my thoughts, Coach Kathy.
Well, I love that you started off with the information about, I think it was your aunt. You said that you could just look at her and tell she was stressed. So like, is something we should look for? What are the signs that we can see somebody that is having like seasonal stress?
Yeah, I mean, you can look at the body language, the lack of eye contact. They may be a little bit shorter than normal with you. And but the big thing, to be honest, you all, I'm not a rock star, and I don't always. I say don't miss your moment. And sometimes I miss my moment. So I saw my aunt, and I hugged her, but I had another brother just this week reach out to me and tell me, last winter he came to me at the All-Star game that we were sponsoring, and I'm dealing with all kind of people in Cincinnati, and he told me that his mother had passed away, and I just said, "All right, man, I'll pray for you," and I didn't take the time to be with him in the moment, and so he hadn't talked to me since that moment. And so he was going to his grief group, and his grief groups challenged him and said, "Well, it's not fair for you to carry this, and you haven't told him how he hurt you." And so just this last week, I had to, me and him work through that together. And so my point is, it's hard, but I was able to see the moment with my aunt just by how her body language and stuff was. Sometimes I'm so busy doing the things that I
Hmm.
miss it with others, right? And so I just think I guess that's would be my warning, but also my confession as well.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that story. I think a lot of times we can miss the cues, right? You hear it all the time. We thought everything was okay. Right. They were coming to work, they were doing all the things, and the next thing you hear there's something they've succumbed to some stressor that they weren't able to share with someone. So I appreciate you sharing the story and also giving us some tools to kind of help us like navigate through it and really kind of reconcile that with whomever might have been reaching out to us that we didn't recognize in the moment. Cornita. Cornita, hey, I know that you're also a coach and you do a lot of work around emotional well-being. Is there anything that you can think of that you would want to add in terms of how stressors, it could be from the holidays, dealing with the finances of holidays, all of those things might be impacting someone's emotional well-being? Oh, you're on mute. There you are.
Thank
There you
you. Just the grief and communication are so key, but in talking, it just opens up other kind of areas around consideration, because sometimes we have to release ourselves and allow a little more time than what we think we have or we want to give. So I call it like reading the room. So for an example, I have a few friends that I've lost. They're dealing with grief or just stress, relationships. You have people that are dealing with the kids that aren't doing well in school. And sometimes I feel like they need some form of communication and support. And it doesn't have to be anything long, but I sometimes feel guilty if I don't give it or provide that or say, knock on someone's door and say, hey, I see you. Like, it doesn't even have to be anything long. It's just that I see you and maybe here's some resources or here's some suggestions for you to do. And you're not by yourself. Like a lot of times people think they're by themselves, even myself as a coach, emotional and social learning. But one of my brands is, my brand is Back Up Ego, I Got This. And every day I deal with this in making sure that I show up, not only for me, but for other people without my ego being dominant. So it's just trying to figure out, like, how can I help you, even though I don't want to do it, but I know the right thing to do
Mm-hmm.
because I see
Mm-hmm.
that you're hurting. So I think we just have to be a little more compassionate with folks, communicate, and just give what we can. And that's what we will advise people. Just give what you can. You don't have to give it all. And you can tell people that, like, this is what I have. I have like a couple of minutes. I wanted to reach out, or I thought about something. I just want to share this or direct you here. So that's where I'm focused now, because a lot of people are struggling, like hurt, and don't know where to go.
Yeah.
They really strong people
Yeah.
are struggling. So, I'm just focusing on that support, and give yourself some grace and mercy too, as coaches, as you show up, just balance yourself as well before give your all, your full glass to someone that you don't have. So,
I love that you said that, because I think, what's that saying? Check on your strong friend. Check on your
mhm.
strong friend,
Check on
right?
your strong
Sometimes,
friend.
it's the one, even as coaches, we can be vulnerable in that space, right? And we're trained to support others, but oftentimes we're left in that space lacking the support system to help us, right? So I
Yes,
love that you elevated that as a real concern, right? Because we have to manage ourselves as well. And you said it. Don't, give from your overflow. Make sure your cup is full, right? Give from your overflow. Give from your
yes,
overflow. I love
yes.
that. I
Thank
love
you.
that. All right. So as we talked about stress and we talked about ways to recognize it, I want to shift the conversation a little bit to talk more about the tools that we can use to kind of help lift our moods in this space. So I'm going to start with Coach Oliver. Okay. Coach Oliver. So what is one grounding or mindfulness practice that you think people should be starting in this time?
Well, I often use myself as an example, and so I'm going to do that in this as well. There's something that I am very intentional about doing all the time, but definitely in this season, and that is the practice of gratitude. I won't go into this story at all, but there is a significant tug of war that happens with me during the holiday seasons based on something that happened as when I was in grade school. And so I've always kind of approached it with some level of trepidation, but over the years, moving into a space of gratitude and really looking at, okay, what are the things that I am thankful for? What are the people who are the people that are important to me, and how can I acknowledge them? There's some things that I do, something I call micro connections, where there might be somebody I haven't text in a while. Hey, I'm gonna text this guy and be like, hey, bro, I'm thinking about you, man. Hope you're good. Hope the family's good. And I kind of do those types of things just to, one, elevate my spirit, to one, two, to make some connections with individuals and maybe share some of that joy, if you will, the holiday cheer with them, so that they know that they're not alone. And it also helps me know that I'm not alone as well. And then the gratitude piece just overall just helps me to look at things through a different lens, because often we're looking at, okay, what do we not have, who's not around, what family member is going to be the problem this season, all of that kind
Hmm.
of stuff, and it just shifts my focus to, okay, what am I grateful for, what has God given, how has he kept me, who are the people around me that love me, who are the people that I need to acknowledge. And so gratefulness and gratitude is something that I practice.
Is there, I love that. First of all, I think that I always have to remind myself daily, right? I have these post-it notes all over my office for my little affirmations and things like that. And one is always around having gratitude for what is already present in my life and being grateful for what's coming, right? But what if people they don't know how to start that? Is there a thing that you can think of that they could, if they're already overwhelmed, how could they get into that practice?
Well, I'll start with the overwhelm. If you're already overwhelmed, I'm gonna just keep it simple. Do less. Because sometimes we feel like we need to do more. I'm
Mhm.
overwhelmed. Okay, I need to do this. What do I need to fix? How do I need to? Whoa, hold on. Pump the brakes for a second. It's okay. Do less, especially in the holiday season. You don't have to show up for every event. You don't have to be everything for everybody. You don't have to cook every dish that somebody asks you to. Like, there's just certain things that you can just say, hey, listen, you know what? I think I'm just going to pull back, because in pulling back, I'm going to be able to find a piece of me that may be left out in this space. And so if you're already overwhelmed, I would say don't try to do more to try to fix that or try to outrun the overwhelm. It's
Mm.
okay. You can step back. They'll be okay if they don't have 8 pies. If they have two, they'll be good. You know what I mean? They'll be all right. They'll figure it out. So it'll be okay.
I love that. I wrote that down. You can't outrun the overwhelm.
Yeah.
If everybody watching on YouTube, you need to have a pad and pen out. I got copious notes. That's awesome. Thank you so much for that. Shavannah, just kind of like piggyback on that, right? So it sounds like what Coach Oliver was talking about is like creating some boundaries, right? Can you give us some practices to help people kind of set more boundaries during a holiday? Like, how do you tell your auntie no? Like,
Right. So yeah, that was really good. This is so good. I'm like you, like get your handy dandy notebook because y'all are dropping some nuggets. I definitely agree with that. One of the things that I feel has really been an attribute in my life, that has really helped me is just really saying yes to what nourishes me and saying no to what drains me. And I think for the holidays, a lot of people get so caught up with their time, energy, finances, emotionally, feeling like we got to be at every event. We have to cater to every single person, meet everybody else's expectations, but we put ourselves last, right? So, one of the tips that I do want to give regarding that is to build boundaries that protect your peace and not your pain. And what I mean by that
mm,
is many of us build walls instead of boundaries, and walls typically keep everybody out, even love, opportunities, on whatever that may look like for you. But boundaries communicate what's healthy for you, and saying yes more to things that nourish your soul, that nourish you, that make you feel good, that makes you feel joy, and learning to say no respectfully to things that drain you can definitely put you in a better space energetically. It can put you in a better space mentally, emotionally, and allow you to understand that this is all about protecting yourself. It's all about you making sure that you are good. I think Cornita said it earlier around the aspect of just making sure you take care of you first. Love yourself first, because you can't be a great mom or wife or dad or coach to anybody if you don't take care of you first, right? So I would say that would be my biggest tip to really go into more saying yes to what nourishes you and no to what drains you.
Coach Shavannah, can you say no without guilt though? I know a lot of people who just feel bad, especially like if it's someone that they love and trust and they want to honor. Like, how do you manage that?
Oh yeah, that's not easy. It's definitely not easy, but at the end of the day, I think you have to just remember that this is about protecting your peace. It's about making yourself whole and not necessarily keeping people out, but it's also a form of emotional self-care. So you have to focus on the fact that do you want to be happy? Do you want to be at peace? Do you want to be whole? Or do you want to make sure that everybody else is happy and put yourself on the back burner? So it's definitely not easy. But like I said, protect your peace. Do what makes you feel good. Be selfish. I know that's probably not the best thing to say, but sometimes it's okay to be selfish and say no. No is a whole complete sentence. A whole complete sentence. So we have to learn to set those boundaries and not be so focused on keeping those walls up and making sure that we're catering to everybody else's need and putting ourselves last. You have to put yourself first and understand that this is protecting you. It's keeping you whole. It's keeping your sanity. It's keeping your mental health estate, right? Because you are a warrior. So warriors, we have to be a warrior, and that's one of the boundaries that we can do or create.
I love that. I love that. And I love the saying, and you just said it, no is a complete sentence. I was a big age before I realized, and I had a whole bunch of degrees before I realized, hey, that is a complete sentence. And I love leveraging it. when it comes to protecting peace. So I love that. I love it. Thank you, Coach Savannah. Our momentology coach, Coach Malika. So like I know that you are really good at like this idea around creating these moments of change and shift. So like what's a mindset shift that people can put in place to kind of navigate the family dynamics that might happen during the holidays, the stressors that come with you know, the crazy uncle and the nephew, all of the things.
Yeah, so this one is a hard one for a lot of people because it's around accountability. And we hate accountability. We love to point the finger at everybody else. It's so and so's fault. My husband didn't do so and so. My kids didn't do this. If only my boss would. It's always everybody else. There's a little thing that we all have access to. It's called a mirror. Sometimes we got to hold that mirror up and we have to admit the addiction to being needed. So there is a phenomena that occurs, and you can look at all the research around different populations and so forth. I will just say that being born into the skin that I'm in, Black women, just we can't stop being everything to everybody all the time, and then we blame it on them, right? So the whole superwoman syndrome is that we all heard the thing about throwing away the cape and all of that sort of thing, right? So I work with a lot of servant leading women who are executives and who are, heads of schools, and they have done all of the work to climb the ladder, and they have built in a need to be needed, and they don't know how to put it down. Right? Because they want to blame it on other people for always coming to them. But sis, didn't you tell them that you are the most responsible and the reliable and you can always be counted on? Right? So when you're telling people that you can do all the things all the time, why are you upset that they're coming to you? Because you done told them that that's who you are. So we have to first take that mirror and say, wait a minute. I'm telling people that I can do all the things all the time. So therefore they're like, oh, good. Malika got it. Right. So have to admit that addiction and start to look at why we need to be needed so much. And it's not easy. And it's some messiness coming around. And yeah, there's a lot of trauma informed ways that we can approach that. But I would recommend first stop and say the next time during this holiday, the next time someone comes to you with what you think is just an offer, an ask that's too big, ask yourself why they're asking you. Right? Before you get upset with them for asking you, ask yourself, why are they asking me? It may be because they think you do such and such so well. It may be, there's a whole litany of things that it may be, but instead of that response, that reactive, I'm going to get upset because someone's asking me to do something, just kind of, as Oliver said, pump the brakes a little bit and say, wait a minute, oh, they're coming to me because I volunteered for the last 3 years to do so and so. So of course I'm going to do it this year, right? So that's one of the things as a tool is one, momentology is about being in the moment. In that very moment when you're about to get upset, when you're about to feel the thing, stop and pause, breathe. That's very important. We don't do nothing bad. Breathe and say, okay, let me just look at this. Let's just take a look at it, right? And then everything that happens to you is nothing but data. It's not good, bad, right, wrong, or indifferent. It's just data. And you take that information and then you make better choices than you did yesterday.
I love that. I also love that you elevated in the space this whole idea of stopping and asking yourself, why are they asking me to do it? One, a coach, we are all coaches, and I'm sure that all of you have had this experience of people coming to you talking about how angry they are, that they keep asking to do those things, right? And I'm like, you're training people how to treat you every time you have an interaction. If you keep making a good potato salad, can you bring that potato salad? Right, we're gonna keep asking, right? Now that that's a silly reference, but it's the same thing, right? In bigger things, like if you're always volunteering to chair the gala and do all of these things, and then you're doing it with a level of efficiency and excellence, people just expect that you don't want it, especially if you're not asking for help, that you don't need any help. You like to do it on your own. You like to keep it moving, and then we get angry and resentful, and that just grows and creates stress in our bodies. Have you seen similar things, Malika?
Absolutely. And one of the things, so momentology, the three major tenets of momentology are awareness, gratitude, and expectance, right? And so in the awareness is the stop and wait a minute, what's going on? And it's a matter of inward and outward, right? So you do this kind of bi-directional thing. On the one hand, why are they asking me, right? On the other hand, what have I been doing? How have I been showing up in the world that made it possible for them to think that this is what I want to do? So you have to look at it, you kind of have to look at it both ways. Then gratitude is, it's called counting your blessings for a reason. You're taking inventory. Gratitude
Mm,
is, oh, you're so smart, you're so good, you're so that. That's why they're coming to you. You can acknowledge that and appreciate that and still say no. As Shavannah said, no is a whole is a whole sentence. You can appreciate that they asked you because you are very competent and also say, I'm not going to be able to do that. And don't say sorry. Let me do one little thing. Please don't say sorry.
oh,
Stop apologizing for living your best life. Stop that. Because there's nothing wrong with looking at yourself first, making sure you're good, your family's good, right? So don't say sorry, just say, I'm not going to be able to do that. And you don't actually need an explanation. So the tools are, they're sort of organic, right? It's like, look at each thing, and as something else unfolds, look at that one. And as something else unfolds, look at that one, and operate from there. There's no guilt. You can take away the emotion. You don't have to feel guilty about it. I can't, I won't, and I'm not going to. It's that simple. It's not
love
easy,
it.
but it's that simple.
I was gonna say that whole not apologizing, like, yeah, yes, let them be mad.
I mean,
They'll be all right. I love it. I love it. No, I appreciate that. I think we definitely need those tools, and we have to practice them. And it may be super uncomfortable at first, but as Coach Malika and the other coaches have talked about, like, these things are just going to be integral to your own peace, right? To all of those words that we started off with, joy and all of those, practicing gratitude are going to be important for us to continue to do the work that we're doing in this space. Um, so we've talked about now we talked about tools. We talked about the things that happen when stress happens. Now we want to talk about finding some joy. I forgot whose word was joy. I think it was Coach Debbie's word was joy. So I'm gonna start with Coach Debbie for this part. It's talking about joy and
Yeah.
connection. Um,
Yeah.
how can how can people intentionally create some joy right now?
Exactly. I'm definitely going to lean into what Oliver talked about is always using myself as an example. And I think the first thing that I used to do is to always think about how I find joy outside of myself. And we have to
Mm,
remember that joy is created from within. But how do you find that? For me personally, there's quite a few things. There's rest, there's movement, there's music, there's service. All those things personally for me bring me back to joy. Why does rest bring me back to joy? Because baby, if I don't get my sleep, we're going to have problems. I need to restore from within. People do not realize how important, and I know you hear it all the time, but then we still take it for granted that we don't get enough sleep. I need at least 6 to 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and I make sure that I'm going to get it. And sometimes it doesn't have to all be at once. You can take those
mm-hmm.
moments of rest, whether it's through the day. If you're working, you take a 5 minute break where you're just literally relaxing and resting your nervous system. How many times are we in this rat race at work and we can't even have a moment to think and clear our mind
Yeah.
just to reset, maybe even for the next meeting? Um, so that's just like little things, so a little rest break, even sleep routines, like getting yourselves prepared to rest, starting with the lighting in your home to turning off the devices and taking it out the room or away from your bed, sleeping next to your phone. Let's stop that. Let's stop.
Please.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Community. How does community bring us joy? For me, again, I love my people. I love my husband. I love my friends. I love my family. If I don't have a balance of that, I start getting depleted. Some
Mhm.
people are the opposite of that, where it's too much community and it drains them. So know yourself and figure out where you can lean into more and where you can kind of lean back. So again, what does that community look like for me? I'm a part of a lot of organizations. Um, it can be at work, your employee resources groups, where that kind of brings you joy. Maybe you're like the only one in your company, and you don't feel like you belong. So tap into that employee resource group where you, as a community, whether it's the Black resources group or the mothers group or the LGBTQ plus group, tap into that community so that, again, you're now releasing that joy with yourself as well as others. It could be the church community in terms of spirituality. That there's so many different communities where there's uh, groups where it's support groups, like we talked about grief. There's so many different ways that you can kind of tap into that movement. That's also very important for me. If we don't move it, we're going to lose it. You don't move those muscles, you don't use those muscles, you will lose it. You wake up with joint pain and cramps and all that stuff because you're not moving your body. Whether it's 10 minutes a day in the morning, 30 minutes in the morning, I walk on my treadmill, I do my strength training, I do meditation. There's just so many ways that we can move. And the most underrated is walking. Walk within nature, tap into nature. That also brings us joy. We don't even realize breathing in fresh air.
Mhm.
And then music for me is all about the feeling I want to feel for that day. How do I want to set my intention for the day? Music is a universal language that most, if I'm not mistaken, most of us really enjoy, no matter what type of music that you like. And then lastly, service. It brings me so much joy to be able to help others, to give back to others, to volunteer, even if it's a word, a mentorship. I do a lot of mentoring. So, not to take over anything else, but I think that should sum it up as much as I can in terms of the couple of touch points that provide joy for me. And hopefully it does for you if you start today. That's the beauty of it. You can start today, all of these practices.
I love what you share because the community aspect of it, I think, could be huge for a lot of people, right? Sometimes we can just get in our little space and we're in that space and we never venture out and experience others. And it could be stressful because you just kind of like in your head all the time, overthinking about the same thing, about the same problems. And sometimes when you get out, especially in service, right? I think a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times there are churches and I belong to a sorority and other things where they're out actively at this time of the year
Yes,
giving
heavy.
out turkey dinners
Yep,
or
yep.
adopting a family at Christmas. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how does that impact our connection? How does that impact joy?
Yeah. I mean, it's really about just the feeling that it gives. Like when we receive, yeah, it's awesome. But to see a smile on someone's face or to see that you've actually helped someone be able to pay their light bill for the month or feed their
Mm.
family. I mean, when you look at that, that to me is priceless. You can't put a number on that, you can't put a title on that, none of that. It's just an innate intricate feeling that just verbiates throughout the day, and you want to give more when you see the impact that you have on others. And then across from all of these points is we realize we don't have to do everything on our own, that we can lean into other places and spaces, yes, one within ourselves, but to remember we don't have to do it all alone.
I love that. I love that. It definitely is an opportunity to create community. If you've never been able to do it, or you just hadn't taken the time and the energy to just to try to figure those things out, I think it's a wonderful idea in order to again kind of giving of yourself instead of receiving.
Yes, yes.
It's a wonderful, wonderful tool to find connection and to find joy. You also said something, oh, about movement. I am not a good dancer, but I play one on TV. And what I mean in front of my TV.
Yeah.
I just think it is just the best thing, right? To get your juices going, to get you
Yeah.
happy, to be in that space. I don't know if any of the coaches here have some movement or dance classes or things they like to do in that space. But I'd love you to share if you have any tidbits in that space, because I think that's a big one.
Hmm.
I like line dancing. Boots on the ground got wore out at my house this summer.
I mean, we all
Amen.
remember a song at a certain point in our lives, and it reminds us of something, whether it's like your past friendship, your bestie when you were in kindergarten, to your first love,
Mm.
to the time when you were promoted, and all the different moments. So it's so many touch points when it comes to music and movement. I mean, yeah, I
I
could go
say
on and on, but
don't be afraid to be weird, right? Like
yeah.
we're so worried about what other people think about stuff. So I'm gonna tell you something. Hamilton gets played all the time up in here. It is a thing. I love Hamilton. Not only I love Hamilton so much, I got the Hamilton remix with Common and Queen Latifah. It is, if y'all ain't heard it, you need to go get it. It's fire.
Yes.
Uh, but I got my playlist and I will blast them. And my kids and my husband know when they hear certain things. Oh, she's in. Don't go into the office or something. Yeah, right. But I don't care if you like cat videos, like whatever it
Hmm.
is, lean
Yeah.
into that thing. Whatever makes you happy, that's your
Yeah.
joy, and own it, and let your freak flag fly. So they say, right? Like be okay
Yeah.
with having, because you're those moments of joy. And thank you, Debbie. That I love when you said joy was your word. I was like, that is spot on, because if we don't have joy, we don't have anything, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
To
I
go
don't
to
care.
go right along the line of
I'm playing Hamilton. I don't care who don't like it.
That's right.
to
Go
go
ahead,
along the
Coach
line of
Sue.
being weird. So to go along the line of being weird, you will see me at a stop sign. I have a pair of real drumsticks in my car, and at stoplights, I am drumming all over
I
my
love
steering
that.
wheel. I am practicing my twirl. I am having so much fun. Never took a
Yes.
drum lesson in my life. I play guitar, but man, I'm having. You'd think I was on like a stage playing in front of 10,000 people, and it is so much fun. And then it makes other people smile too. So go for
Yep.
weird.
It's contagious. It's
I love
contagious.
it. I love it. Cornita, what do you do?
You know what? I was going to comment. When Debbie was talking, I was thinking like it's so beautiful to hear the word joy, but also my concern is a lot of people don't know what their joy is. And
Mm.
that's hard because sometimes, and I think, as a human, you go through that, right? You change jobs, you change relationships, things, life changes, and sometimes your joy may change along with that. So I think one of the early steps is actually calling out or writing down what makes you feel good so you can know and then how to create it. Because we often go to someone else. I could say, for an example, I love all that Debbie said, and I love what Malika said about her music. But I'm like, dang, I want to listen to Hamilton. But if my spirit and my joy really isn't Hamilton, I need to figure out what my Hamilton is. Right? It doesn't
Mm.
say I don't do it or try to be like someone. It's just I think we do a better job of knowing what your joy is, defining that, and creating it for you, not for someone else. But listening to them, like I've learned, like, oh, okay, I never listened to like the soundtrack of a play before, but now I will. You know what I mean? Like, let me find the one that I really like. But I like that. Let me see what resonates best for me to bring my joy out.
Excellent
So
point.
thank you
Excellent
guys.
point.
Yeah, you guys
I
are.
love,
This is a
yeah.
wonderful word. It's one of my favorite words as well. So
I
yeah.
don't want to miss the guys on the panel to see if they have any specialty dances or movements they like to do. Lamarque, golf can count, but
Yeah,
is
but
there any
is
other?
there any
I golfed yesterday. I played 9 holes in the cold.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
But
movement for you.
it is movement. Yeah, I mean, you know, you all have hit so many good points, but I always like to go to, you have to start at the mirror with that, right? And I always like to ask 2 questions when I used to teach with my students, and I still use it with adults as well. Who am I, right? And what is my purpose? And so, like discovering that joy, I know for me personally, I had to learn how to love what I see in the mirror.
Mhm.
And then I was able to find joy, the things that I like, and it was a journey, right? Especially for a black man, growing up in America, I had to, I played professional basketball, but then I became an entrepreneur, and I had to assimilate so much. I had to discover myself all over again in my 30s, right? So like if you're trying to, and that was a journey for me. I remember I was in my office building, and I said, man, it's okay to be a black man in America. I was 30, like 30 some years old. Right. And so that joy process for me and learning, what do I love and those places. And then now I can simplify it to three things. Hey, look, I love spending time with my family on vacation. I love to golf and I love to help other people. I got three things and that's what I just enjoy doing. And the other thing that gives me joy, you all talked about saying no, is everybody doesn't have the courage to be courageous in their joy, like giving it away and sharing it with others, whatever. And so, what I've learned to do is now to create a space where I can invite other people in to share in that joy so they can get that, that shot of oxytocin in collaboration with me. And that way, therefore, I don't have to carry the whole load, but also I get to sharing it with other people. So, yeah, I love joy as well, and joy does come from within, but you'll never find joy if you don't find joy in what you see in the mirror.
Love that. Love that. Coach Oliver, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Well, I don't have any specialty dance moves.
Yeah.
But I am a huge fan of music. Fun fact, I did some producing in another life, and I still do some pre-production stuff now. So I have a small setup in another room where I may not always play the music. Sometimes I play the music because I'm a hip hop era kid, right? And so, the 70s, 80s, 90s hip hop, I'm always going to be a fan of that. But often I'll go in and create something. So
Mm.
if there's something that I'm feeling that I need to get out, or there's a vibe that I kind of want to put in the atmosphere, I'll go sit down and just bang something out and just just sit there and vibe on that for an hour. So that's kind of where it comes for me. And then it's interesting as we're talking about joy, right? And joy coming from within. I don't know if this is necessarily from within, but I'm gonna say within the family structure. We have a 4-year-old grandson, and we did not realize what life was like until this guy came along. and
Mm.
so and so just little stuff like he had me upstairs last night, um putting these magnets together to build a robot, and it's just little stuff like you just like, man, this was really cool. Like this big 54-year-old guy is like on the floor, rolling around with this 4-year-old kid. So that's where I get a lot of movement with
Mm.
him. And then, with the exercise piece too, just being really mindful about, like like Debbie said, if you if you don't use it, you'll lose it. Right. And so, very proud of my, I think I'm coming up on like 80 weeks in a row with, hitting the Peloton several times a day. And so
Okay.
just trying to get it where I can get it, man, because at the end of the day, like Coach Marque said, you got to be able to look in the mirror, right? You got to love what you see. You got to acknowledge what you see. You got to be able to encourage and affirm what you see, and you got to be able to put pieces in place, like the dancing, like
Yep.
hanging out with the grandkids, like the exercise that help to build up that muscle.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
but no dance moves. You might not see,
Ah.
you know, I don't have the drum. I got to get the drumsticks like Sue. I got to get and I got to get the soundtracks and stuff. So I'm gonna step my game up.
That's all right. You
Well,
already
man,
got
No.
it out of the
I missed
bag.
that part too.
DJ
I,
Oliver, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
well, and I missed that part with the dance moves. So I'm confidently corny, right?
Okay.
And so I am not the best dancer, but I own every bit of it, believe me.
That's right. That's right.
But the thing that I loved about everything that you all just shared is the look on your face when you're telling those stories, right? Sue went into the hand motions when she was drumming, right? Everybody, like, Coach Oliver, I'm sure that you were a radio announcer. I'm like, he got a radio voice. Like, I mean, it's just all of the things, right? It just makes so much sense, but it shows up in your body language. So pure joy is really coming out as you talk about these things. So I just love that one that we're in this space where we can really talk about that, but people that are watching this can really see that we're about what we're talking about, right? That we're really in this space of trying to find joy, making connections, de-stress during the season, really focusing on the things that matter, right? Connection, family, and not going to the point of overgiving and overthinking and not and being unafraid to say no. And again, we're all coaches on the You Are Warrior app, and we're really proud of the work that we're doing there. And we have an opportunity to meet a pretty special lady who just happened to join our live. Our CEO, president, and founder of You Are Warrior app just joined us. Hi, Prashan.
Hi, hello, hello. I'm listening and I'm like so excited. First of all, let me just say I'm so thankful for each and every one of you. Just thankful that you are a part of this movement. You're a part of this journey and this pathway. I mean, this is a tough journey, y'all. This is tough, but we are doing it. And each and every one of you, you bring so much to the table. Like I'm listening, I'm like, yes, like Debbie, Sue, Lamarque, Oliver, you, Kathy, all of you, like, each and every one of you are so special, right? Malika, look at all of y'all, Savannah, all of that. Like, just kudos and thank you, right? So the world needs to know all of us because we're doing great stuff and we're saving lives and helping people. That's the most important thing. And so I love how each and every one of you do it in a different way. And so thank you.
Well, we're so proud to be a part of the You Are Word community, Brashan, and as we started off talking about today, like we're starting this cadence of being live on YouTube, having the replay available on Facebook and on LinkedIn. But we want people to get to know who we are as a community. We're
Yes.
we're really focused on health and well-being, right? It's a they call VUCA times. Lamarque gave me this term a long time ago. Volatile, uncertain, chaotic, and ambiguous. Lots of
I
things are
love that.
happening where people are trying to navigate this space, and especially at the holiday times, it's so much more energy around
Mhm.
even until it hurts
Mhm.
and sacrificing and all of those things. So our conversations today, I think, have been very helpful in helping people to understand the opportunity to to again to be in this space with us, but also to be a part of the You Are Warrior family. So I want to just encourage everyone to go to the app stores, go to Google Play Store, download the You Are Warrior app, go in there. We're there. We're offering up
Yeah.
group coaching. We're offering up different challenges if you're
Yeah.
interested in being a
Yes.
part of a challenge that will help you to kind of think about how you're doing life, right? Are you doing affirmations? Are you doing your meditations? Are you taking time to as Lamarque say, fall in love with the person in the mirror? Right? And
Yes. I
each
love
coach
that.
has talked about really cool ways that they do it, and they can help to prompt you to get you to that space. So you're doing this with regularity and really getting connected and really feeling that joy. So we really just want you to be a part of our community. Download the You Are Warrior app today and come on over and get even more from this great selection of coaches that are here. And again, from our beautiful founder, Brashan. Brashan,
And
did
let
you
me
want to
just,
add
Kathy,
anything?
yeah, I
Hmm.
want to add, today I got a call from my professor at NYU. And he literally just called and said, keep doing what you're doing. It's going to be needed. He was like, don't stop. We are going to need communities so badly in the next year or two. Like, we're going to need communities, safe havens. Like, it's going to show up so much in the next year. He was like, Rashawn, let me tell you, you are a warrior. Keep inspiring, empowering, and leading the way. And I'm doing this with each and every one of you. But he was like, don't stop. I'm telling you, I had two young kids who are in their master's program who said to them, who said they wanted to commit suicide and they didn't have a community, right? And so two different scenarios, but he was like, it's so important what we're doing. So I want to say just thank you each and every, I gotta give each one of y'all a shout out. Like seriously, thank you, Kathy, my heart, like just, you know, Debbie, look at you, Debbie. Lamarque, thank you. Yes. Malika, Oliver, let's give shout out Shabana and Sue. Like, thank you. You know what I mean? And so the app we built is robust, right? It has, our specialty is the coaching, and we're going to have one-on-one coaching and group coaching, but it's peer-to-peer support. It's daily challenges. It's daily motivation. We're gamifying it, right? You can post anonymous, and it's a community. That's what I say. It's a community to share, vent, get support, and not feel alone. Because our thing is, you're not alone. We're in this together. So we're in this together as warriors.
We definitely are not alone. And again, I want to thank you, Brashawn, and I especially want to thank this dynamic group of outstanding coaches that
Yep.
are here, that are superstars in their own right.
Yep.
We will make sure to post their information under our the live and under when we post it, repost this to LinkedIn and to Facebook so that you can learn more about them. But also know that you should download the URAWarrior app and get in one of their group sessions as soon as you can, because you're definitely going to have a treat working with any of the coaches that are present here today. So thank you again to all of the coaches here today. Thank you, Brashawn, and we'll see you all soon with our next You Are a Warrior Coach Live. Thanks,
Oh,
everybody.
thank
Thank you, Miss
you.
Kathy.
And Coach
Thank
Carnita.
you.
Sorry, forgot. Thank you. Join us again. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
All right.